Bedtime with Daddy.
Okay, can you guys see my screen? It should say Vedic stories.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. Well, then that's great. So today we're going to start off with another one of the Vedic stories that my topic is going to be about. So I remember last class that I wasn't with you, but the first class that I took, I had poll to see which stories you wanted to hear about. So for today, I'm going to take one of the suggestions that somebody gave, and today's class is going to be about Lord Nrsimhadev and Prahlad Maharaj. So has anybody seen this photo before, or has anyone heard this name before? Okay, some people did. That's great to know. Okay, so we're going to start off. So the story actually doesn't start with Nrsimhadev. It starts off in the very beginning with Jay and Vijay. So in the photo you see, there are two tall, beautiful beings there who are in blue wearing a yellow dhoti, and their names are Jay and Vijay. So Jay and Vijay are the doorkeepers of Lord Vishnu, or doorkeepers as in they are guards and they watch the door and make sure of and who's going in and who's going out to visit Lord Vishnu. So, as you can see in the image, there are four little boys, and their names are the four Kumaras. They are the sons of Brahma. And when Lord Brahma created them, they wanted to know what was happening and who they were and like what was their purpose of being in the world. So Lord Brahma told them. And once Brahma told them, they were so curious and they wanted to see Lord Vishnu because they knew that he was the Supreme Lord. So they were going to visit him. However, Jay and Vijay had stopped them at the door and said, "Oh, you are just little boys. Why would you want to see Lord Vishnu? Do you even know who he is? You don't know his powers. You don't know why he is the Supreme Lord." So that's why Jay and Vijay chose to stop the four Kumaras right at the door. So because of that, the four Kumaras, although they look like they're little boys, they are actually very big saints. They are also known as the Sanakadic Rishis. So they're very big saints and they're sons of Brahma. So they got very angry at this and they were wondering, why are you stopping us? We are devotees. We want to see the Lord. But Jay and Vijay wouldn't let them through. So since the four Kumaras were stopped, they chose to curse Jay and Vijay. And they said that, oh, since you won't let us go and see Lord Vishnu because you're being so protective of him, we are going to curse you that you also have to stay away from Lord Vishnu and you have to go into the material world. So, because of this, as soon as Lord Vishnu heard this happening, he ran outside. And as soon as he ran outside, he saw the four Kumaras and he also saw Jay and Vijay. He had heard the curse and he started to pray to the four Kumaras, like, "Oh,
उसका
please,
सॉल्व सेंड करिए सात्विक
my doorkeepers don't know what they're doing. They didn't know who you were. Please forgive them." So the four Kumaras, now after seeing Lord Vishnu, they understand that it was a mistake. So they gave the Jay and Vijay two options. So their options were you could either go into the material world and take birth three times as demons, as in three lifetimes as demons, or you can choose to take seven births as devotees. So this time, Jay and Vijay thought carefully. And although we might think that they would choose devotees because they were and are devotees of Lord Vishnu, they actually chose three births as demons. And their reasoning was because they didn't want to spend more time away from Lord Vishnu and they wanted to come back to Lord Vishnu as soon as possible. They didn't want to be away from him. So three birds is less than seven birds. So that's why they chose three birds as demons. Okay, so they had took three births. So their first birth was as brothers in the names of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So the first brother, Hiranyaksha, he was a very cruel leader. He was also a king, but he wanted control over all three worlds, not just this world, just like every other demon does. They all want control over everything and they want to be God themselves. They want to get rid of everyone. They want to be immortal. So Hiranyaksha, he also chose to get boons from Brahma, and he got a boon from invincibility. And since he became invincible, took so many boons, he had so much power, he thought that he would never be destroyed. So since he thought that he would never be destroyed, he took it upon himself to test out his powers. So not only did he go terrorizing all of Earth, he actually chose to take Earth and as we would play like with a basketball or a soccer ball, he chose to play with the Earth and he stole it and put the Earth underwater, as in under the ocean. So he hid the Earth under the ocean. So everybody who lived on Earth was very much disturbed. There was so much terror. And if the Earth wasn't in its place in the solar system, the entire solar system was going to be messed up. And that was a very, very big concern. So that's why when the demigods went and prayed to Lord Vishnu, like, please do something, we don't know how to take care of Hiranyaksha. So Lord Vishnu was like, okay. So Lord Vishnu came in the form of Varahadev. Varahadev in English would be a wild boar, the animal. And with boars, they have tusks. And in the image, you can see in Varadev, he has white tusks, which are like teeth, like how elephants have tusks. And that was a specialty. And that is also a reason why Lord Vishnu chose this, because by using his tusks, Lord Varahadev was able to not only kill Hiranyaksha during his war, but also he was able to bring the earth above water. Because, as like I said, the Hiranyaksha had put the earth underwater, and that was the big problem. So in the photos, you can see the battle between Hiranyaksha and Lord Vishnu in the form of Varahadev. And even though the form is of a wild boar, that is one of the forms that Lord Vishnu took. And because of this battle, all of the earth was restored back to its position, and all of peace was once again coming to back to earth. Okay. Now, in this next image, we can see that the tusks that I was talking about is what Varahadev used. So he brought the Earth back to its correct position in the solar system using their tusks. Now, I hope you remember that I mentioned that there were two brothers, Jaya and Vijaya. And in their first birth, they were known as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Now, Hiranyaksha was killed by Varahadev, just like how I explained here. However, his brother Hiranyakashipu was very, very angry. He didn't like that Lord Vishnu had killed his brother, and he thought that Lord Vishnu was completely wrong. So, because of this, Hiranyakashipu had developed a very, very strong anger and hatred towards Lord Vishnu. Hiranyakashipu didn't like him at all, and he hated everyone and all of his devotees who worshipped. So now, instead of Hiranyaksha, when he died, Hiranyakashipu became the leader of the world. And he, like his brother, was also a very cruel demon. And because of him being a very cruel demon, he chose to not only take over and harm other people, he chose to harm specifically the devotees of Vishnu because Vishnu had killed his brother. So, because of all of this terror, Hiranyakashipu had a wife named Kayadu, and he was about to have a son. And since the son was still in the womb of his mother Kayadu, all of the demigods were very worried that the son was also going to become a demon, just like his father Hiranyakashipu. And they were worried that he might become an even bigger demon than him. So, what the demigods did was that they chose to kidnap her, as in take her away and take her to a secluded place away from Hiranyakashipu. So in this time, their demigods planned, they had planned to actually kill the baby that was in the womb of Kayadu. So they were simply waiting for her to give birth. However, Narad Muni, he was the one who is a great saint and great devotee of Lord Vishnu. He understood what was happening, and he also understood that in the womb of Kayadu was not a demon, but a great devotee. So this great devotee, and in order to protect him, Narad Muni took Kayadu from the demigods and rescued her and told her, I will keep you safe until your baby is born, and nobody will hurt you. So during Narad Muni, the times that Kayadu stayed with Narad Muni and Prahlad Maharaj was in his womb, Narad Muni, being a devotee, he continued to talk about Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, and his instructions, and talk about how a good devotee should be, and all of the nice glories and stories of Lord Vishnu and all of his blessings and his beautiful form. So, because of this, Prahlad Maharaj, in the womb of his mother, heard all of the stories of Krishna and the form of Vishnu. And since he heard the stories, he became a devotee and not a demon like his father. Since he was a devotee, he chose to, like, from the very beginning, from as a young child, he chose and understood that Lord Vishnu was the main Lord. He was the supreme Lord, and he understood that his father was not. So in this image, you can see that Prahlad Maharaj is actually at school, just like as young boys and girls go to school, he went to school, and he was dancing and doing kirtan and teaching all of his other students about how Lord Vishnu is the supreme Lord. Now, his father being the king and also being the great demon Hiranyakashipu, all of his teachers and all of his all of his classmates were very confused as to why he was talking about Lord Vishnu and not Hiranyakashipu being the main god. But they continued to follow him nonetheless. And Prahlad Maharaj, you can actually read his teachings. There is a very nice book, and they talk about Prahlad Maharaj's teachings and what he taught to the other students at school. So once he grew up and he continued to talk about this, when he came back home, his father Hiranyakashipu would ask him, "Oh, what did you learn at school today?" Just like our parents might ask us, "Oh, what did you learn at school?" So instead of saying that, "Oh, you, my father Hiranyakashipu, are the greatest and you're the best and you are amazing," he said that Lord Vishnu is the supreme and he is the supreme God, and you are nothing but a leader. You are nothing but a king, and all of your power comes from him. So, hearing this, Hiranyakashipu was very, very angry. He was so upset that he could control the whole world, but his own son, Prahlad, was not listening to him. And not only was he not listening to him, he chose to go on and tell other students and other people as well um, about why Hiranyakashipu was not God. So here you can see that Hiranyakashipu is very angry and he's choosing not to listen to Prahlad and he's very angry. So because of this, Hiranyakashipu decides that I cannot live with a son like this. I do not want a son who's not going to listen to me and who's not going to treat me like God. So he tells his demon soldiers, okay, I don't want him. So you can either correct him or you can go and kill him. So he goes back and they try to take him to school again. And Prahlad Maharaj does the same. He continues to talk about his devotees and continues to talk and transform more people into devotees. And he keeps talking about Lord Vishnu's glories and his wonderful pastimes. And then this time, when he goes back to Hiranyakashipu, the same thing happens. Hiranyakashipu asks him again what happened at school, and Prahlad Maharaj tells the same thing about how Lord Vishnu's glories are the best, and Lord Vishnu is the supreme Lord, and how he's the real power source and you're nothing but a pawn. And hearing that, Hiranyakashipu is so angry. So he tells the soldiers, just kill him. I do not want him as a son. I do not want him at all. I don't want him alive. Okay, so now the soldiers go on and try different forms of killing. They put Prahlad in a pit of snakes to see if the snakes could kill him. But he became friends with the snakes because of Lord Vishnu's mercy. So the snakes did not harm him, and Prahlad Maharaj was okay. Now, Nrsim, Hiranyakashipu chose to talk to his sister and also another demon, Holika. Now, Holika had a boon where she could not be burned by fire. It was not possible. So, Hiranyakashipu thought, I could give Prahlad to her and have them both sit in fire. Since Holika has a boon, she would not be burned and only Prahlad would die. So this is exactly what they did. However, because of Lord Vishnu's mercy, Holika was the one who actually died. Even though she had the boon, she was the one who died because she tried to hurt a devotee. And Prahlad was safe because he was a devotee and he continued to remember Lord Vishnu during all of this. So, if you guys know, you celebrate Holi, you play with colors, but there's also this aspect of why we celebrate Holi is because Prahlad Maharaj was saved and rescued by Lord Vishnu from Hiranyakashipu and from Holika. So these are two ways. Another ways that they tried to kill Prahlad Maharaj was by putting him under an elephant. They gave they gave him a very angry and very not manageable elephant, and they put Prahlad Maharaj in the same room as him. However, because of Lord Vishnu's mercy, the elephant simply would not stop on him. The elephant did not, and he actually started to hurt the other demon soldiers instead. And Prahlad Maharaj remained safe again because of Lord Vishnu. One other way that he was harmed or attempted to be harmed was that the soldiers chose to throw Prahlad off a cliff. And they tried to kill him again by throwing him off a very tall cliff, off a very tall mountain. But as you can see in the image, hopefully you can see that in the very corner, there's a small photo of Lord Vishnu as he is protecting and catching Prahlad Maharaj from falling. He protects him and he carries him back all the way back home. And this way, Lord Vishnu protected Prahlad and he was not harmed again. So now Hiranyakashipu, seeing that his son was not getting killed and continued to stay alive, he was very, very concerned. Not only was he concerned because as his own son, Prahlad Maharaj was not accepting him as God, he was also concerned about who is the power source of Prahlad. How is Prahlad getting all of this power? And how is he surviving? And why is he not being killed? All of the things that his soldiers did, all of the different methods they used, Prahlad Maharaj did not seem to die. He seemed to be safe, and in fact, the soldiers were the ones who were getting hurt instead. So this was all very confusing for Hiranyakashipu, and he couldn't figure this out. He was so, so concerned. So he chose to bring Hiranyakashipu chose to bring Prahlad Maharaj back to his kingdom and ask him, what is your power source? What did you do to get this much power? Why are you not being killed? So Prahlad Maharaj answered, Lord Vishnu is the same power source that where I get my power from, and he is the same power source where you get your power. And hearing this, Hiranyakashipu was so angry. He could not understand why he kept talking about Lord Vishnu. So he asked him, Oh, where is your Lord Vishnu? Do you see him? And Prahlad Maharaj responded, Lord Vishnu is everywhere. He is all around us and he is always protecting us. So Hiranyakashipu, out of anger and out of spite, he in his kingdom, he pointed to a pillar and he said, Oh, is your Lord Vishnu pillar? Do you see him in there in a very angry and sarcastic mood? So Prahlad Maharaj said, yes, he is in that pillar and he is everywhere all around me. So, in order to prove this, in order to understand what was going on, Hiranyakashipu was like, oh, okay. And he took his weapon and smashed the pillar. However, before he could smash the pillar, Lord Nrsimhadev came out of the pillar. Lord Nrsimhadev came in the form of half man, half lion. And he came out of the pillar and he chose to have a huge battle with Hiranyakashipu. Now, just like how I had mentioned that in the beginning with Hiranyaksha, how he took boons and how Holy Gashi took boons from Brahma, so just like that, Hiranyakashipu had also taken boons from Brahma. And seeing the other demons, he chose to ask for immortality, which of course he cannot be immortal. Everyone has to die. So then he was like, okay, what other boons can I do? So Hiranyakashipu took boons in the form. He did not want to be killed during the day or at night. He did not want to be killed by any weapon. He did not want to be killed by any man or animal. He did not want to be killed in the air or in the sky. And so being going on and on, he was so specific and he thought that he beat all of the loopholes and he was like, oh, no one's gonna kill me. Okay, so now Lord Nrsimhadev comes out in this form, and in this form you can see he is a half man and a half lion, which means that he is not a man or an animal. As you can see, it is currently not morning nor nighttime. It was actually sunset time, like dusk. Okay. And another thing you can see is that Hiranyakashipu is in his lap, which is not in the sky and it's not on the ground. So that's another way. And if you can notice in the photo on the right, Hiranyakashipu was killed by Lord Nrsimhadev's nails. So as a lion and as a human also, he had very long nails. So since the nails are not a weapon, they're a part of his body, that was another way that the Lord was able to go around Hiranyakashipu's wishes. So keeping all of Lord Brahma's boons satisfied and making sure that all of what Hiranyakashipu had asked for was true, Lord Nrsimhadev appeared in the form and fought and had battled against him and killed him. So this way, Lord Nrsimhadev was able to beat Hiranyakashipu and take over and prove to him and all of his soldiers that he was in fact everywhere, just like Prahlad Maharaj has said. So in some stories, that in some places, they also say that Lord Nrsimhadev did not appear to kill Hiranyakashipu, but he had actually appeared to prove that what Prahlad was saying, what his devotee was saying, was true. So you hear it's an example of how you can see that Lord Vishnu will appear always to prove and to satisfy what his devotee is saying. So if you're a pure devotee of the Lord, he will appear and he will make sure that his devotees will never perish. That is also something that is said in the Bhagavad Gita. Now, here in this story, over here, Lord Nrsimha has killed Hiranyakashipu. And after he kills Hiranyakashipu, he is so angry by how Prahlad Maharaj was treated. He goes on and begins killing the demon soldiers. So now the demon soldiers are being killed one by one, and everyone is there to witness this. The demigods are also there to witness this. And among the demigods, there is also Narad Muni and Lakshmi Devi and Brahmadev. And everybody is wondering, what do we do? How do we calm down Nrsimhadev? Because although he killed Hiranyakashipu and he continued to kill the demon soldiers, he was not calm. He was not satisfied. He was very angry by how Prahlad Maharaj was being treated. So what they decided was to send Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj went and he prayed to Nrsimhadev. And because of Prahlad Maharaj's prayers, Nrsimhadev was able to be calmed down. Lord Nrsimhadev finally understood that Hiranyakashipu had been killed and the demon soldiers had been killed. And after that, Prahlad Maharaj was praying and understanding, and he was so thankful that Lord Vishnu came and was able to bless him. So Nrsimhadev asked him, "Oh, what boon would you like? I'm very happy with you and I would like to give you a boon." So Prahlad Maharaj, in his first in his first asking for the boon, he said, "I understand that my father has committed very great sins and offenses to you. However, I ask you to forgive him." And because it was Prahlad Maharaj, Nrsimhadev said, he has already been forgiven and I understand and I'm so thankful and I am so appreciative. Like I understand that even though he did so many offenses to me, you being his son and doing your responsibility as a son are asking for him to be liberated. I'm so proud of you for doing this. And Nrsimhadev, blessed Prahlad Maharaj to rule over this kingdom. And after he ruled for his entire lifetime, Prahlad Maharaj also got his own planet. So that is the story of Lord Nrsimhadev. Now, does anybody have any questions about the story that I said thus far? Okay, Prakhar, you raise your hand.
Um, how long did Prahlad Maharaj rule his kingdom for?
Okay, so Prahlad, and this is Ayub. So during that time, humans had a lifespan of 1 million years. So Prahlad Maharaj, I believe he ruled from his young and he became king and he ruled for a long time. So I'm going to say it was during the same span as the Sati um, people had. So a very, very long time.
Okay.
Krishna and Daksha, you raised your hand?
So you're saying that Prahlad Maharaj started ruling the kingdom at the age of 5?
I'm saying that after Hiranyakashipu was killed, yes, Prahlad Maharaj did become king. However, you should understand that he wasn't king by himself. There were a lot of advisors, and he had a lot of like other assistants and managers and ministers. He had a lot of people helping him. So it wasn't that he was just put in charge of leading a whole kingdom. It's that he had a lot of people supporting him, and he also had Lord Vishnu supporting him.
And people always like people say that Prahlad Maharaj is always 5, like
Oh,
he's 5.
yes. So in that form of him acting and praying to Lord Nrsimhadev, yes, that is true. However, he does grow up to become a young man and a king, and he does grow up. Gara, you had a question?
Yes, Mataji. Why did Narasimha kill Hiranyakashipu?
Okay, so Nrsimhadev killed Hiranyakashipu because Hiranyakashipu had tortured Prahlad Maharaj, and Hiranyakashipu had also been torturing the rest of the earth and the other three planets. So because of this, and because Hiranyakashipu hated Lord Vishnu, he had no other choice but to kill him, because Hiranyakashipu was fully ready to kill Lord Vishnu. So Nrsimhadev killed him because he was hurting a devotee and he was hurting all of the earth.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, I don't see any more questions right now, which is good, but that's okay. So
Second demon
now,
left.
sorry?
It's the second demon left now, right?
It's a what? Can you please repeat that?
Now they have to start their second team in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go back. So I'm not done. Like the story is done, but I asked last time, and some of you guys were excited to learn about the questions and have like a question and answer session. So I'm going to be asking questions, and you can either unmute yourself and answer them, and which would be preferred because I am not able to read the chat. But if you would like to type them in the chat, that is also all right. I have the chat pulled up next to me. So afterwards, here are the next questions. So the first question is, what is one of the ways that Prahlad Maharaj was tortured? Do you guys? Okay, unmute yourself. Go ahead.
He was tried to be stamped on by an elephant.
Mm-hmm.
He was thrown off a cliff.
Snakes.
He was
Yes.
getting thrown off the cliff.
Yes.
An
Okay.
elephant tried to stomp, like they made an elephant stomp on it, like tried.
Yes. Okay. I'll ask others too. Nihal and Yatra. Sanika.
They tried to push him off a cliff.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Arya.
They tried to make a.
They put him in a fire.
They did. They did. Okay, 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 nice. So these are great answers. I'm going to move on to ask the next question. So who are Jay and Vijay originally? What do they, who are they? So go ahead and unmute yourself. That's okay.
They're gods.
They were doorkeepers,
Doorkeepers of Vishnu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doorkeepers of Vishnu.
Yes. Okay, that's good. I'm so glad everybody got that one. Okay, so here's the next question. In what form or body did Varahadev come in?
A boar. A wild boar.
Yes.
A wild boar.
Yes, okay, I got it. All of you seem to get that one as well. Good job. Here's one more question. What weapon was used to kill Hiranyakashipu?
His nails.
Nails.
Yes, yes, good job. So the nails were used by Nrsimhadev because Hiranyakashipu had asked a very important boon, which was, I do not want to be killed by any weapon. And so the weapon specifically was nails because they're not technically weapons, they're just part of your body. Okay, so here's another question. Who gave the instructions to Prahlad?
Narad Muni.
Yes, that's correct. It was Narad Muni. Narad Muni was the one who rescued Kayadu from the demigods because they were having ill intentions.
Mummy.
Oh, please mute yourself. And so that was the reason why Narad Muni took Kayadu and gave instructions to her and to Prahlad Maharaj. Okay, so these were the 5 questions that I had for you guys. Now, before we wrap up, if anybody has any last questions or anything else they would like to say, you can raise your hand now or type it in the chat. Anything is okay.
That's disabled.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then please unmute yourself. Sorry, I didn't know that. Okay. No worries. If there are Nihal, did you have a question? Your hand's been raised.
No.
Okay, no worries. So if there are no more questions, then I will end my class here. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed it a lot, and I will see you guys next time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Saloni, for a very wonderful session. You recite very nicely here. Nashima Dev pastime. Thank you. So, kids, today we don't have the activity flameless cooking class. Teacher is not available due to the long weekend. So, we will meet on Monday with new stories and new activities. Thank you so much for everything. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Have a nice weekend. Thank you so much, Saloni. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bye.
Uh,
Hare
bye.
Krishna.
Hare
Bye
Krishna.
bye. Hare Krishna.